There's a certain aesthetic that has infected Hollywood, and a lot of viewers know it when they see it, but they can't quite define it. A lot of times they'll blame CGI or green screen or visual effects for the shortcomings that they're noticing in modern movies. Most recently, this has been attributed to the Wicked movies, but it also applies to a lot of the movies from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. People noticing or pointing out that these movies just don't look as good as they think they could. Now, there's a lot of reasons for why this is the case, and yes, CGI and visual effects and green screen can be part of it, but I want to take a look at Wicked for Good and point out the stuff that stands out to me. Here's the trailer from Wicked for Good, and as I go through it, you can see these shots look nice, they're appealing, there's some good color going on, some good lighting, and overall, I'd say it's got some pop to it. It's nice, and I'm not here to judge whether it's good or bad or in between. A lot of that is up to you, but one thing I will say is that this has extra color applied to it. Yeah, I kind of took a few extra steps here, and I did boost the saturation and contrast. This is what the movie actually looks like. And I can understand why people have complaints with it. As we go through, you can see it has kind of a hazy, dreary look. Everything's kind of bland and subdued, maybe a little dull. It's definitely a choice. Stylistically, you can prefer images like this, and that's fine. Some people do. But I'll also admit that people who have a problem with visuals like this, I can understand their point of view, especially when you compare it to the original and classic films from Hollywood. So the original Wizard of Oz, you can see here, and I have this pulled up in the same timeline, and we're just kind of scrubbing through. Different look, certainly, compared to the newer stuff. And I want to explain why. Let's go back to Wicked for Good. So here you can see this nice shot. Aesthetically, it is pleasing, but with a simple bump up in contrast and saturation, we get something a little bit more vibrant. And I think that's what people are pointing to when they're discussing these types of films. They're lacking a certain saturation, a certain amount of contrast that people gravitate towards. Even on YouTube, if you look at designing a thumbnail, something like this is probably far more attractive than something like this. This looks more like log ungraded footage, even though it's not. Log is very desaturated and very low contrast, and they are doing a color grade to this footage to achieve a certain aesthetic, but when you push it that much more, all of a sudden it pops, and now people gravitate towards it just a little bit more. As I go through this, you'll see it just stands out with that extra saturation and contrast, and that's purely from a color grading perspective. We're also going to talk about the lighting, because you'll notice in these new Wicked movies, as well as a lot of movies in Hollywood now, they're very soft when it comes to the lighting. Let me find a good example for you as we scrub through here. So here's a shot. We have Glinda, the Good Witch, and everything here is kind of flat, even though I've applied this extra contrast and saturation. Remember, this isn't the original shot. This is. So I don't know what you'd prefer me stay on. I think everyone kind of knows what the movie looks like, so I'm going to leave it on the extra pop, and this is quickly color graded, just saturation and contrast. That's all I added. And I'm applying it to a compressed MP4 downloaded from the internet. This is not original raw material that I'm working with. And I spent 2 seconds on it. So it's just that extra little pop that I think a lot of people are missing. But beyond that, look at the lighting, look at her neck. There's no defined shadow line. And we'll go through this and I'll kind of show you more examples of where everything is just very soft, no harsh light, very matte, very polished, finished look. And again, you can have a preference for that. You maybe like it or maybe you don't like it. I just wanted to point out it has nothing to do with the CGI, which of course this movie is full of as well. But beyond that, the lighting, the color grading, it all adds up in giving this certain aesthetic. Remember, we're not looking at the actual movie here. That's the actual movie. This low contrast, desaturated, more log-like footage. But we do have strong shadows from time to time. Here you can see some used, artistically, creatively on the yellow brick road to highlight their fight sequence. I have seen this movie, by the way. I didn't mention it, but I did go see it. And then other times you get these very muddy, hard to decipher shots. And this is what people complain about when they're talking about modern movies and TV shows being too dark. It's not that they're too dark necessarily. There's just not a lot of that contrast, not a lot of that vibrancy, and not of the highlights and shadows. We're looking at a shot where it's mostly shadows, and it's hard to tell what's going on, especially if your monitor isn't calibrated right, if your brightness is set a little bit lower. It's very hard to distinguish what some of these shots are. We'll go through a few more. Like, what are we looking at here? Hard to say, kind of muddy, kind of too dark, as some people might say. And that's with the graded, the way the final movie is. If I put the extra contrast on there, maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. But that's beyond the color grading there. That's where we get back into the lighting, just not being able to tell what's happening. Here we're back to some, nicely lit faces. We can even look at the scopes and just see where the color lands on their final grade and what we saw in the movie. And you can kind of see it's very flat, very soft. We don't have bright highlights and deep dark shadows. Everything's kind of mid-tone, and it just creates this almost HDR effect in the visuals, which again can be fine. Maybe that's your preference. Maybe you like it. But oftentimes people say it looks very digital and less film-like. Let's continue on going through some of the shots where we have these deep, dark, underexposed images. And again, subjective, it's creative, it's artistic. You can have a preference for this. That's fine. But if people say this is too dark, I can kind of understand what they're saying and what they're pointing to, because even visually on our scopes, look at how dark that image is, regardless of what TV you're watching it on. Continuing through, we can look at a few more shots here. There's certainly some shots like this one. To me, it's got some nice contrast. We got the bright lights, we got the dark shadows, but at the same time, it still feels a little flat, a little lifeless. If I throw that extra saturation and color on here, watch what happens. All of a sudden, this kind of shot comes to life. It's bold, it's rich, it's more vibrant. And again, that's with basic, simple color correction. I'm not doing anything fancy. Contrast and saturation is it. So we have this balance between lighting, the soft light, the dynamic range trying to capture it all, and the color grading and how they're interacting with one another. We're really getting kind of a lifeless picture instead of something very more exciting, more vibrant of what you would expect from The Wizard of Oz. Again, the filmmakers have whatever choice they want. It's their movie, it's their vision. They can bring it to life however they want. But again, as people criticize it or they point out saying, oh, this looks kind of dull, this is what they're pointing to. It comes down a lot to the color grading and the lighting in general for this particular movie. As we go through, so I've got that color thrown on there. Again, that pop, that contrast, the saturation, the vibrance, we've got it boosted up a little bit. And I think it just looks a little bit more rich, a little bit more full in terms of what we're able to experience in the frame. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you so you can really enjoy what we're looking at. Because I don't think this movie looks bad. I just think it looks maybe unfinished, or maybe finished to a degree where someone was scared of pushing the limits too far. Maybe they preferred a more hazy, dreamy, dreary look. That's all fine. But with the raw footage, it certainly could have been pushed further to this degree, more contrast, more richness to the images. And, that can only apply to a certain degree with color grading, because yes, at a certain point you are limited by the lighting that was shot, but plenty of these shots do look kind of nice when you throw that extra pop on there. When you look at it without, it looks just unfinished, I guess, to my eye, for what some people want from a, bright, vibrant world of Oz. Here's a shot that is kind of interesting for how dark it is, I suppose. Some more of this like underexposed, like where's the contrast? Everything is shadow here. Some more of that, although a little bit nicer. Another one of these, just what are we looking at? And let me turn off the color correction because I don't want someone to complain that it's, me doing it. I'm not. This is just straight from the trailer. That's just what it looks like. I mean, the shadows are buried. And what's interesting is nowadays, you can get really clean shadows with these digital cameras. This was shot on the Alexa 65, I believe. So phenomenal camera, super expensive, amazing visuals, and you can have super clean shadows. But I feel like what it tends to lead filmmakers towards is burying stuff in those shadows to the point where you're not getting the rich contrast you might want or expect. Same thing here with this shot. Now, granted, it's nighttime, but traditional film, nighttime was still bright. You could still see it had color and contrast to it, highlights and shadows. And nowadays we seemingly are getting just a ton of shadows and it can be hard to see what we're looking at on certain monitors, certain displays, depending on your setup. Let's keep going here a little bit because I think there are some more examples of just where we can, like this shot, I want to give it that pop because when I see that, it's like kind of flat and dull. And then all of a sudden, boom, it comes to life. Just a little bit of saturation, a little bit of contrast. Not saying they had to, but they could have. Let's leave it on for a bit as we continue to go through here. More shots, more visual eye candy, incredible, phenomenal work from the set designers to wardrobe, hair and makeup, even the cinematography, like all this, like it's working well. This is a big budget movie. It looks good. It sounds good, but I think it could look just a little bit better. This shot in particular, I really love how striking this shot is. And you notice it's one of the few shots where we have this like strong, pronounced, harsh edge light, but we still have clear, nice fill light on the face. But that's with the color. If I turn it off, all of a sudden it just loses, loses all of its energy and it becomes, more hazy, more dreary, more dull, more bland. But you put that little saturation, a little contrast on there, and all of a sudden it comes to life. Here's another shot where it's very dark on those shadows as far as, like her face and everything. It can be a look, it can be a choice. Let's turn off the color that I threw on there because, don't want people looking at that original as is, as final, color graded. You can see here, those shadows, the black of her dress, for as dark as it is, isn't even touching zero. We're still kind of above zero, which zero would be black. So above there, anywhere between 0 and 10, so around like 5. It's like a very washed out gray look, hazy, dreary, fine if you like it, but I understand when people say, what the heck is going on, especially for a shot like this, where on the right display at the right level of brightness, you will be able to see that. It's fine. But if it's on a dimmer display, you got the brightness turned down, all of a sudden everything is buried down there, like under 20. And you're just going, what am I looking at? If I throw contrast on there, let's try that just for some fun, gives it a little bit of pop, gives it a little bit more life. But this stuff, very striking images, some of these, like this Tin Man one in particular. I like that. It's nice. But as is, it's, more washed out, more gray, more dull. Let's go through here. So there's some of these shots, it's all stuff we've seen already. We've covered. These shots in particular are extra dark. So this is without any extra color. You can just see how dark on those scopes. See over there? Very dark. Hard to see, especially if you're watching on certain screens. We got some of those harsh shadows, but again, used for storytelling only. They're not on the actors' faces. Aside from, this is one of the few moments you can actually see a line under her chin, like on her neck, where there was this bright light. And this is one of the few shots in this trailer that actually stood out to me when I was going through it, going like, wow, there's something here. And I will say that just throwing saturation and contrast on an image is not the right way to do it. You see the color shifts a little bit. Her skin tone looks more yellow. That's not what I'd be after. But like I said, it took me like 5 seconds. So there's that balance there as is. It's kind of desaturated, but to get the right color, you want to definitely spend the time. So that's, Wicked for Good. Let's pop over into the original Wizard of Oz, almost like not quite 100-year difference almost between these films. Crazy to think that that's true. Maybe not. Wizard of Oz is 38, I think, 1930 or 39, something like that. So 90 years, 85. I don't know what the actual math is. I can't do it that quickly off the top of my head. But here's the original Wizard of Oz, and there's some shots in here that you can see the striking contrast in the lighting. It's not that stuff is black and gone. If we look at the scopes, right? Even like our baseline here from this compression, our baseline is at 10. So truly this needs to be much lower, but you can even see on the face, the shadows, some harsh lines from that, bigger, harsher light versus the soft light we're getting these days. Same thing here. Dorothy on her chin, you can see the neckline there. There's a really good example later. Let me pull it up here. See that harsh line on her neck? you know that the light being used for this shot is probably big and it's harsh, it's not soft. And we're getting more of that texture, more of that contrast, more of the dimension to the image. Because when you use soft lighting, it kind of washes everything out, especially if it's a soft edge light and you're kind of hitting the camera lens with light and even lowering contrast even more through haze and kind of light pollution. But if you just blast a light at the subject, I'm not saying it looks good, I'm just saying it looks different. Again, you might prefer this, you might say this looks ugly and bad and old, and both I think are totally fine. But pointing out the difference, it's not CGI, it's not visual effects, it's not green screen. It is the lighting and the color grading playing a big part in why Wicked looks like it does compared to The Wizard of Oz. So this is an old movie. You know, not the first color movie, but one of the most notable examples of color film, but it did exist before Wizard of Oz. They just kind of claimed all the notoriety because of the transition in the movie, going from that sepia, black and white, to the full color experience. And it looks different. Yes, it's shot on film, Wicked is digital, but even that isn't as much a part of it as it just is the lighting and the color grading and, you know, some other aspects as well. Certainly it all plays a role, it all factors together, but I think the biggest difference for me is the lighting and the color grading. Just with these shots, how much more they pop in that vibrance when you're seeing it fully saturated versus the lower contrast. Look at a shot like this. You see the sky, the clouds. When I'm talking about retaining dynamic range, this is the obsession that a lot of films have nowadays, where we want to see the clouds in the sky, the brightest brights, even washed out, even with this haze, this low contrast sky, but then the shadows and everything too. You see all the way into their suits and the shadows here. There's very little, you know, anything actually black down in there. And then same thing with the highlights. There's very few bright whites that, you know, maybe the specular highlights are clipping white, but everything else is somewhere in between. And it gives it this HDR, low contrast look compared to when you can throw a little bit of extra color boost on there. Now it's vibrant. Now you're seeing something maybe a little bit more magical, like you might associate with the Land of Oz. So that's the stuff that I noticed watching the film. You know, you can't fix lighting with color grading. One's in camera, one is post, but they do go hand in hand. And it has to be that vision from start to finish. And if the filmmakers achieved their vision, kudos to them, bravo. I just want to point out that you can't just chalk it up to CGI, visual effects. That's an easy scapegoat, easy to blame and say, oh, it looks fake, because it is. But honestly, for this movie, there's a lot of these sets they built and they're real locations and they're doing it practical in camera. So you can't even blame the visual effects. Maybe you want to, maybe that's what you gravitate towards, blaming it on the green screen. But a lot of it is real. It's shot in camera. It's not bad CGI. It's maybe something else, maybe something you didn't notice. The lighting, which nowadays almost everything is soft light, or the color grading, which maybe is subjective. Maybe it's down to your opinion of what you think looks good or not. But in one shot, you can kind of compare and contrast. And I'm not saying what I did looks good. Hear me. This is not good looking necessarily. It's just saturation and contrast. That's it. Just throw it on there to show, to prove a point that the color's there. It just isn't really pushed. We're not seeing it in the final result. We're seeing a little bit more washed out, a little bit more dreary, a little bit more dull and bland. And then you pop the color on there and all of a sudden, hey, my eyes are rejoicing.